This is a PSA to all men, because in my experience now, having had worked in this community for a couple of years now, for quite some time, I've come into contact with one observation, also an observation that I have within myself. For a lot of us that are anxiously attached, we are also avoidantly attached just as much. But the worst part is the thing about anxious attachment is you actually know when you're doing it, right? Healing card coming through in the upright. You have a sense of when you're feeling anxiously attached. You're checking your phone, you're literally feeling anxiety. It's that type of thing. You know when you're anxiously attached. But, my friends, many of you are so unaware of the parts of you that are avoidant when it comes to dating, that are avoidantly attached. That's the crazy thing, is avoidant attachment. It's so subtle, it's so unconscious, and it's what so many of us, especially in this day and age, are dealing with. We're dealing with a pandemic of avoidant attachment style, if you will, because you don't realize that when you're not able to let someone in, you don't think of yourself as doing anything wrong. You think that you're emotionally regulated. A lot of times we disguise our avoidant attachment wounds, fear card coming through in the reverse, we disguise this as emotional regulation, when that's not the case. It's actually just avoiding pain, it's avoiding emotion on every single level. And it's using things like logic, rationalization, in order to do so. I want you guys to think about the parts of you that are avoidant as like barricading a door into a room. You're gonna have people in your life that are gonna try to get into that door, that are gonna try to get into that barricaded room. And you have to let them in. You have to let people in. You have to let the right women in. You have to let the right friends in. You have to let the right family members in, because behind your barricaded door, there's a ton of pain. And then there's also this idea that, hey, if I just barricade my door and don't let anyone in, that I won't actually have to experience this pain. But that's not true, because unfortunately, people can hurt you from outside the door without even letting them in. So how do we switch out of this fear? How do we switch out of this fight or flight? Because yes, modern men are avoiding relationships, but it's all coming back down to pain. Retribution card coming through in the upright. But I like to think of it in a science experiment kind of way, okay? Imagine you have a couple of bunny rabbits in a mating cage, okay? They're mating, they're fertile bunny rabbits. They were given something that really makes these rabbits want to mate like crazy. It's the middle of spring, whatever. And these rabbits are in this cage, but there's two rabbits, right? There's two rabbits that are so traumatized that they're shaking in the corner and they're hiding underneath the igloo. They can't mate, right? And that's where many of us find ourselves. We find ourselves at this point where we can't mate, quite literally, because of all the pain that it brings up, because of the brutal fact that if you let someone in, if you let someone inside your inner world, if you let someone inside your vulnerability, if you let someone see those wounds, you think they're gonna leave you again. But that's not always the case. Not everyone leaves, but a part of you carries this burden that you think you're unlovable. And also a part of you has this thing where, because of the fear, you don't view women as part of yourself. There needs to be a unity, right? Quite literally, when love making is had, it is the most unified human form body-wise, okay? You can't get a metaphor deeper than that. And a lot of the mistake that men make is they look at women like they are aliens, like they are not a part of themselves. But in order to love this part of the universe, you have to view this as part of yourself. Women and the right woman in your life, she's gonna be a part of you. So anything you do onto her, you do onto yourself. If that makes any sense. So anyways, how do we, what's the final, let's get a final message. What do the boys watching this video need to know? What do the men watching this video need to hear? Ooh. We have the healing card and the distraction card coming through in the upright. Stop distracting yourself from your healing at this time. And that's how you will get your true retribution. And with that being said, I will see you guys in a later YouTube video. Bye, y'all.